I'm back with another recipe. Today we are making cinnamon buns. We're going to make honey butter cinnamon buns, which is just the best combination of words, I think, for a recipe title. I really have been wanting to make cinnamon buns for a while, but I don't like waiting for things. I'm very impatient. These don't require any proving or rising. They don't take very long to make. Well, I've not made them yet, so I can't really say that for truth. I also wanted to use this honey that I was sent very kindly from Honey Tradition, which I think is going to be really great. And I know a title such as honey butter would suggest that this is not suitable for vegans, but I am going to be giving alterations, so this recipe will be suitable for anyone. So this is the final product. This is what we are going to be making today. Everyone in your house is very lucky if you're making this, unless you're like me and you don't share. We're going to start by making the honey butter that's going to go in the centre of the cinnamon roll. First ingredient, no surprise, is butter. You could obviously substitute this for vegan spread if you wanted it to be suitable for vegans. So I'm going to use 2 tablespoons of butter. And you want your butter to be quite soft, so this is pretty soft, it's very warm in here. Otherwise you're not going to be able to stir it together properly. Next I'm going to add honey. So you could either just make this with sugar, so you could use brown sugar, caster sugar, whatever sugar you've got, or you could sub it for something like maple syrup if you wanted to. This honey I'm using is called honeydew honey, and it was sent to me from Honey Tradition. Thank you very much, it's very kind of you. It tastes amazing. It's got a really strong flavour, which I really like, and it's going to taste great in these. So I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of honey. Why is it always so messy getting honey out of the jar? I actually did that a lot neater than I was expecting to. And then about 1 tablespoon of ground cinnamon. And just mix that all together. This is why you need the butter to be soft to do this, otherwise you're not actually going to be able to get them to mix together. I'm also just going to add a little bit of brown sugar to this, just because I want it to have a little bit of kind of crunch to it. So I'm just going to add a really small amount of brown sugar. Just about ½ tablespoon, and then I'm going to mix that in as well. So this is how it looks at the moment. I mean, it already looks nice, let's be honest. Cinnamon, honey butter, ready to go. So you want to leave this out, don't put this in the fridge, otherwise it's going to get really hard and you're not going to be able to spread it. So just leave this out so it stays nice and soft whilst we make the dough. So for the buttermilk, if you've got buttermilk, that's great. If you don't, 250 millilitres you want, so either 250 mils of buttermilk or 250 mils of any milk, and then some lemon juice. So this lemon's really hard, and the best way to get juice out of a citrus fruit is to roll on top of it for a bit, and it just breaks down the inside and you can get the juice out a lot easier. Plus you get to look like this, so everyone's a winner. So the juice from half a lemon, or if you're using lemon juice from a bottle, 2 to 3 tablespoons. Stir that together and then leave it aside for about 10 minutes. So to make the dough, plain flour, bread flour, whatever flour you've got. I've become very aware of how I say the word flour in these videos. Flour. I say it a bit weirdly, don't I? Baking powder, you want ½ teaspoon. And bicarbonate of soda, you want 1 teaspoon of as well. Still working with these tiny sachets. I will not be defeated. And we're going to add our buttermilk to this. So after 10 minutes, your milk should be a little bit thicker. Should start to curdle a little bit, and you should have it like sticking to the glass around the edge, and that just means it's ready. So you're just going to pour your milk into the flour, bicarbonate and baking powder mix, and then just to be kind of extra bougie, I'm channeling my inner James Martin, and I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of melted butter. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. It's just going to make the dough like extra rich and tasty. And who doesn't love, you know, more butter? It's great. you can substitute it for vegan spread if you want to. I'm also just going to add a little bit of cinnamon to the dough because I'm a cinnamon fiend and I absolutely love cinnamon, so there's cinnamon in every single part of this recipe. You don't have to do that, or if you're a cinnamon freak like me, then go ahead and do that. So just about a teaspoon to the dough, and then I'm just going to mix all of this together until it forms a really nice ball of dough. Just getting flour all over myself. I don't know why I'm wearing black for this video. Didn't think that through, did I? So my dough has come together quite nicely in a nice ball. And then I'm going to put, it will still be a bit sticky, so it's still like, comes off of my fingers. But I'm going to put some flour on my work surface and then tip it out so that we can start to get it into a square shape to create the cinnamon rolls. That's better, you can see it now. Once you've got the dough covered in flour, you'll be able to move it around a lot easier. You don't want to work this too much because it will start to get sticky. So just want to roll it out into a vague kind of rectangular shape, because this is what we're going to roll up to create the cinnamon buns. Okay, so mine is about the length of the rolling pin and about the width of an A4 piece of paper. And then I'm going to get our honey butter that we made, our cinnamon honey butter, and spread that all over the top and then roll it up. I mean, it just looks great, doesn't it? Okay, so now I'm going to roll it all so that I can cut it. And this is where we create the spiral in the middle of the bun. It's probably going to be fatter in the middle than it is at the sides, just because that always happens. Okay, and then gently just cut it into pieces. So I'm going to make, I think this is going to probably make about 8. There's a solid chance I'm making this recipe up as I go again. One day I won't. One day I'll do one that I already know. But yeah, I think this is going to make about 8 buns. And I'm going to take a cake tin and I'm just going to place them around. So I'm going to put one in the centre. Oh, look how cute! I find cinnamon buns really adorable. So this is what I have now. They are going to rise in the oven, so they will fill up the space in between. So you don't want them too close together, but you also don't want them to be really, really far apart. So this is how mine's looking, and I'm going to put this in the oven at 200 degrees. And then I will give you the rest of the baking times and temperatures once I know. I'm so excited to eat them. So I baked these at 200 degrees for 15 minutes and then turned the temperature down to 170 for the final 10. I prefer mine a little bit doughy. So I did 15 and 10, but if you like to eat your food fully cooked, then 15 and 15 is probably best. But if you're weird like me and you like things to be soft, then 15 and 10 is what you're after. Put them aside for 5 minutes whilst we make the cream cheese frosting, which is going to go over the top. You want the buns to be a little bit warm when you put it on, so it starts to melt and spread a little bit, but you don't want them to be too hot, otherwise it's just going to dissolve into the cinnamon buns and disappear. And then what's even the point? I'm going to need another bowl, and for the cream cheese frosting, first of all you just want 1 tablespoon of butter. So starting with 1 tablespoon of soft butter again, and then 2 tablespoons of cream cheese. Very generous tablespoons. 1 tablespoon of icing sugar, which you could probably, sieve if that's an option to you. Just want to mix all of that together. So it will still be it will be soft, but it should be solid. And just to make it a little bit kind of runnier, I'm just going to add a little bit of milk, like a tablespoon of milk. So now it's like super soft. That's what I'm looking for. So the cream cheese frosting, just put kind of all over everywhere. That's going to be my guidance. And you'll find that the cream cheese frosting will just start to kind of melt into the buns. And then I'm just going to put more cinnamon on the top, for good measure. And this is my easy honey butter cinnamon buns. I'm very happy.